After sacrificing everything for her husband to allow him to eat himself to over 600 pounds, only to have him abuse her, accuse her of cheating and push Dr. Now, Lee might just be the most awful husband ever in my 600 pound life. What starts with initial hope and some optimism for losing weight quickly unravels into a psychological nightmare. In an unusual episode of My 600 Pound Life, the show follows the story of a couple, Lee and Renee, who are both on a weight loss journey together. With weights unknown due to exceeding the limits of the scale, they don't have any idea of the effect that years of overeating has done to the body.
It's torture every day. And my body is so bad now that I'm even having trouble breathing, but I can't even take the time to worry about myself because my boyfriend can't do anything for himself anymore.
Renee, despite her huge size and issues with her breathing, takes on the majority of the care of both herself and her boyfriend Lee.
All right.
So I have to help him before I can take care of myself.
Just living life is a struggle daily. So there's many days that I don't get out of bed because of the pain. And I hate what I'm doing to Renee.
The smallest tasks, like walking to the bathroom, are extremely painful for Lee, as he's carrying at least an extra 400 pounds around with him.
I need your help. I'm shaking really bad. And when I try and take a shower, it's pretty much a full day job because it just wears me out. We're all back here. And I'm just ready to be done. After even a few minutes trying to sit there, I just can't handle it for long.
Showering, something everyone does at least once a day, I hope, is extremely challenging for Lee, and he needs Renee to wash him because he simply doesn't have the stamina to do it. Holding his arms in the air would probably feel like holding 100 pounds in the air, which isn't an easy thing to do. One thing about being this size that is especially important is that these individuals need a lot of personal care, definitely more than most. Bathing isn't as simple as washing the body with soap. For Lee and Renee, they have so much excess skin because of their weight that their skin needs to be lifted up and scrubbed to make sure that it hasn't broken and became infected. And infections are extremely common in these super morbidly obese people, mostly due to the fact that keeping clean is such a struggle. Not only are they common, they're also extremely dangerous for them as they have weakened immune systems, meaning that it'll take much longer to recover from them. As Renee takes care of Lee, she finds little time to be able to take care of herself too.
So once I finish with Lee, then I can finally take care of myself. But by the time I'm done, I am very exhausted. I am hurting, shaking, can't breathe. And then when I stand up, my skin apron hangs so far down that it pulls on my back and it pulls on my shoulders. It's miserable. I miss being able to feel like a woman. Now I feel like I'm a sideshow. I consider it being a living hell being in this body. And I hate the imprisonment of the weight. But I know the life I have now was set in motion a long time ago.
Now for the couple, weight has always been an issue. They've always had food addictions, and starting a relationship just made everything even worse. Lee and Renee felt like they could be their true selves in front of each other, instead of being embarrassed or ashamed by their eating habits. For Renee, she struggled with food since being a child. Her mother suffered from a severe psychotic disorder, often hallucinating in front of her, causing deep emotional distress. Renee turned to food as a way to cope, eating huge portions and eating sweet snacks behind closed doors. Overeating isn't something you can hide for very long though, as the evidence starts to show pretty soon. By the time Renee was 15 years old, she weighed nearly 300 pounds. Things escalated dramatically when Renee's mother packed her bags and left the family home in secret one day, with Renee coming home from school to find that her mother had abandoned her. She struggled deeply with this, tormented by the knowledge that her mother didn't want her anymore. This awful situation sent Renee spiraling, as she kept eating, and she was over 400 pounds by the time she was 18. Not only did Renee indulge in food as a coping mechanism, she also turned to alcohol too. She just wanted to forget all the bad experiences she'd been through, dropping out of school and partying. After a few years of this, Renee got up to 500 pounds. But obviously, this couldn't go on forever, especially when Renee's dad had passed away and she knew she didn't have the emotional capacity to deal with his death in a healthy way. Determined to lose the weight, Renee and her brother, who was also 600 pounds, checked themselves into a weight loss clinic to overcome their food addiction. But what started as a step in the right direction quickly turned into a negative one, as this is how Renee met Lee.
And then we were an item at the clinic, but that broke the rules there, so we either had to stop dating or leave.
They would get onto us for holding hands. They would get onto us for showing any kind of emotion or attention to each other. So we just decided we wanted to be together. We wanted a relationship.
We loved each other, and we've stayed together over the past 11 years since leaving the clinic. But being together, with both of us struggling with food, has not been a good thing because we've just been gaining, and each day our health is only getting worse. It's embarrassing that we can't even take care of ourselves anymore.
Watching how the couple lives, it's easy to understand how they got to their size. For the last 11 years, Renee has been doing most of the cooking, cleaning, and general caretaking of both herself and Lee. But in the last couple of years, she has significantly deteriorated and can no longer do these tasks. This meant that Lee's sister, Cassie, had to take over this role, coming over every day to cook and clean for them. But the meals she makes aren't exactly the healthiest. Now, it can be difficult to think of meals to make when you try and lose weight, as you want something that's going to be low in calories but tastes good too. And that's why I created the Fat Loss Kitchen newsletter, a weekly free subscription where I work with a chef and weight loss enthusiast to come up with high protein, low calorie meals for anyone who wants to kickstart their weight loss journey. And not only have we got a free newsletter, but we've also just released our brand new cookbook, which comes in the form of a digital ebook. There's over 40 high quality recipes on there that have been handmade specifically for this book, and you can take it anywhere you want with your phone. If you use code Craig, you'll be able to get 15% off, and the link is in the description if you want to sign up to the newsletter or check out our cookbook. Thank you so much for the support, and let's get back into the video. Now back to Cassie. The breakfast she prepares for them looks like it could feed a family of 5.
And I know Casey doesn't want us to eat like we do, but she also knows if she doesn't make what we want, then we're really going to get upset.
Gain more and more weight, but I feel like it's out of my control. It's their decision.
Thank you, Casey.
You're welcome.
Food is my comfort. When I'm depressed, I eat. When I'm sad, I eat. When I'm happy, I eat. Food is my drug of choice. And for Renee, too. And a lot of times, we won't even be hungry, but we just want to do something. We're done eating.
Just a second.
I know I'm killing myself with how I eat. But what's worse is, it ain't only me now. I know I'm helping kill Renee. So I have to see it happen to the woman I love.
Now, Cassie is in a difficult situation, and to be honest, I do feel for her. Ultimately, she doesn't want to feed them these calorie-filled meals, but she knows that Renee and Lee will get annoyed with her if she doesn't make them. It must be hard for her to struggle with the guilt, if she's helping her brother and sister-in-law essentially kill themselves through overeating. Like Renee, Lee has also struggled with his weight since growing up. His childhood was just as traumatic, as his parents separated when he was very young, and he was also abused by one of his siblings. He started eating in secret, getting up in the middle of the night to sneak food when he knew no one would be watching. By the time he was just 10 years old, he weighed over 200 pounds. As he kept getting larger, Lee's father became concerned and was desperate to get him to stop eating, resorting to putting a padlock on the fridge so he couldn't sneak any more food. But this didn't stop him, as he found other ways to sneak food, eventually making it to over 500 pounds by the time he was 18. Lee continued his cycle of overeating for many years, eventually deciding that he needed to change his life and admitted himself into the weight loss clinic where he met Renee. But Renee and Lee meeting each other wasn't the love story you probably think it would be, as leaving the clinic to start their relationship ended up costing them their health and mobility. The pair now struggle to walk short distances and rely fully on their mobility scooters when leaving the house, which they have to transport on a trailer.
It's extremely hard to get both of our chairs loaded up for us, but if I don't, there's no way I could walk through a store now. Because my legs shake, my legs give out, I can't breathe. It's just too much.
And during their shopping spree at the supermarket, they completely indulge in whatever they want, despite the judging stares of onlooking strangers.
Because when I'm eating, it's almost like feeling an emptiness in my body.
Yeah. How many packs of bacon you want?
Uh,
Couple or?
Yeah. It's like laying down and getting a good massage. Well, we need some mayonnaise. And when it's over, you just want more.
We'll eat everything here, either today or by tomorrow.
Now, I'm sorry, what? They will eat an entire shopping trolley worth of food in less than 2 days? A food shop of that size could easily feed a family of 4 for over 2 weeks. The fact that Renee has no concept of what a regular person eats throughout is a testament of how she was able to gain so much weight in such a short amount of time. This is a common theme with the stars in the show as well, as they have little to no understanding of what it takes to maintain an average diet, like how many calories a meal should contain or how many you should eat in a day. And even if they do know, they just don't care, as the most important factor is just consuming as much food as physically possible. It's clear Lee and Renee know their bad habits are killing them, but they just can't stop. On the way back from the supermarket, the couple's car breaks down on the side of the road. Now, without power, there's no AC, and the pair don't have any idea of how to resolve the situation. Instead of just calling a breakdown recovery, they just sit there and complain.
I have gas and everything else seems fine. So if overheating is not the issue, then I don't know what we're gonna do.
We aren't gonna last much longer in the heat. I'm already feeling really lightheaded. So just hope she gets here soon.
The fact that Renee thinks she won't last much longer because she needs to sit in the heat for a little bit is crazy. She absolutely has no resilience whatsoever and can't look to herself to solve a problem. It also demonstrates just how much their weight limits their life.
I know the situation could have turned out much, much worse, and that there's going to be a day where someone isn't going to be able to come and help us. So I know that we just can't keep living like this, and that time is running out for us.
If Lee's sister had come to help them, they'd probably still be there today. They can only walk a few feet at a time, so would have had to stay close to the vehicle. They seriously need to change their life around because they can't keep having to rely on their family to come and save them. Despite this, the couple continue to indulge in whatever they want, even though time is running out.
I can feel myself going downhill. I can tell that things are getting bad, and I feel like I'm just waiting to die.
The only option that I can see that we have left is that we go to Houston to see Dr. Now. Because if we don't get help, I will probably just keep getting bigger and bigger until my heart can't take it no more. And I don't want that for me or Renee.
With their health risks only increasing, Lee and Renee decide it's time to see Dr. Now and make plans to travel the 11-hour drive to Houston from their home in Missouri. But before they've even started their road trip, they haven't exactly set off on the right foot.
Gotta have some road snacks. That'll probably get us for about an hour and then we'll stop and get some more.
We've never done a trip like this, and what's scaring me is not just how hard it's going to be to travel this long, but how I'm going to be able to take care of Lee on the road. He can't go to the bathroom himself or do anything. So whatever he needs, I have to do it in the car. So all of this is a lot of uncharted territory for us, and it's scary.
The fact that the couple is starting their weight loss journey with bags and bags of snacks is pretty disappointing, but not exactly shocking. We wouldn't really expect anything different from them. And even just a few minutes into the journey, they stop at a drive-thru.
Let's stop and get some food, baby. I'm starving. I need 3 chicken strip sandwiches. A number 1 with the bacon, but I want mayonnaise and smoked sauce on it. And we need to order cheese sticks too.
All right, anything else for you?
Nope.
Okay, it's going to be 4401.
One of my goals since I've been with Renee is to make our relationship official and marry her. All right, let's go find a place to park. But I didn't want to do it till I could get down on one knee.
There's your drink.
Thank you. I've dreamed of that future, but now I am so afraid that I am not going to live long enough to marry the woman that I love and that I no longer even have a future unless someone can save me from myself.
Aside from ordering enough food for 4 people, it's really annoyed me that Lee doesn't even have the courtesy to say please and thank you to the server, and he's just really starting to show his selfish side, which we'll see more of very soon. His selfish side really comes to the forefront when we see the absolute lengths that Renee has to go through to care for him.
I hope we find a town soon. I just gotta pee real bad. I drank that big old drink. Think you can stick that urinal down my britches and help me pee? We may have to hit a dirt road or something if we don't find something soon. We've only been on the road for a few hours and it's already starting to get tough. And when you're a person of my size, you have to do what you have to do. But there's no way I could even think about walking into a store and peeing. I'm gonna pull over here where we're out of everybody's line of vision. So we just have to figure it out.
Lee making Renee help him urinate is honestly appalling. and it's so unfair that he's gotten to this size and is absolutely fine with letting her take care of him this way. Although Renee is obviously overweight too, she's definitely more mobile than Lee, so naturally she is the one where this workload falls onto. Plus, Lee's friend is also going with them on their road trip to ensure that if anything goes wrong, he can be there to help. But he's also in the car while this is going on, while Renee is holding the portable urinal for Lee, and it's honestly pretty disgusting, and I don't even want to think about what the car smelled like during that. The road trip continues, but after over 8 hours of driving, Lee was in so much pain they had to pull over to a hotel and stay the night. This caused them to fall behind on their schedule, meaning that they now have to drive straight to Dr. Now's hospital without any stops to ensure they get to their appointment on time. And despite this, they do make it, with literal minutes to spare. And now comes the time we've all been waiting for, when Lee and Renee finally step on the scales and we see just how much they weigh, and they are in for a complete shock. Renee hits the scales first at 549 pounds, and it's much higher than we're expecting. I would consider myself a My 600 Pound Life expert at this point, given all the episodes I've watched. And this is pretty spot on for what I would have guessed Renee's weight was. Being somewhat mobile definitely puts you below the 600 pound mark. And that definitely rings true for Lee, as he is over 150 pounds heavier than his girlfriend at 714 pounds.
I can tell Renee isn't too happy about her weight, but I'm worried that mine's going to be much more of a shock. I'm just hoping I'm still in the 600 range.
714.
Oh my God, really? Really heartbreaking to realize that my weight had gotten so out of control. I just hope Dr. Now's going to be able to help us change this and get our lives back.
Guess I'll see y'all later. I'm right here waiting for y'all.
Learning how much they both weigh has actually been a huge wake-up call for them, as there's no hiding how they got there, and no way they can talk themselves out of the situation, especially when Dr. Now lays the situation out in front of them and they have nowhere to hide.
All right, Lee, you are 714 pounds, and Renee, you are 549 pounds. And you both have significant health issues as a result of your weight. Renee, you're diabetic and you take an enormous amount of insulin.
Yes.
The same seems to be the case for Lee too. And I see you're on oxygen. So you're no longer able to breathe on your own because of your weight. And Lee, you have high blood pressure, you have sleep apnea, you have gout, you have acid reflux, high cholesterol, depression. There's no way your body is going to be able to sustain your weight for much longer at all. You need to fully understand how close to death you are right now, and that you too are in a very bad place.
Dr. Now gives them strict instructions of what they need to do to qualify for weight loss surgery, using his new diet plan that he prescribes for them. For Renee, she needs to lose 75 pounds. For Lee, he needs to lose 150 pounds, which they both have to do within 2 months. When the couple return home to Missouri, they feel as though they started a new life, as they have always revolved 24/7 around eating food. Now, they finally have a goal to work towards, and have tried to start moving around more and more each day.
So Renee and me started playing video games that require us to get active. I missed it. At first, I could only do it for a few minutes, but now we're playing whole games and getting competitive.
Yes.
But by this time next month, I hope to be able to get up and get around the house a little bit for my exercise.
And the score is 163 to 124. I beat you.
How about a rematch?
All right.
Love you. But the hard part has been cutting back our diet.
It's kind of crazy that Wii bowling is considered exercise. I'm not even sure real life bowling is considered exercise, but they have to start somewhere. Moving a bit more is the easy part. The hard part is resisting the cravings. And for Lee, this is going to be especially hard, given his anger issues around not getting what he wants.
My biggest fear was when Lee gets cravings, then he doesn't get what he wants. He can get very angry, but he hasn't been doing that.
I think we've been really good.
And that's been a huge relief because I feel like we're in this together.
I've got a feeling if he cooked some meals from the Fat Loss Kitchen cookbook, he would be a lot fuller for a lot longer. The couple struggle mostly with their portion control, as their meal sizes in their diet plan are so much smaller than what they used to be. But they stay motivated and committed to each other with the same goal. And the trip to see Dr. Now will tell all about if they've been able to properly stick to the plan and succeed in their weight loss goals. When Renee steps on the scales, it's quite anticlimactic, as she loses a little more than half of what Dr. Now asked for, bringing her weight down to 507 pounds. And Lee, although not what Dr. Now asked, he did lose 95 pounds, and it's definitely a great step in the right direction, just unfortunately not as fast as Dr. Now would have liked. It's definitely clear they would have been overeating at some points throughout their 2 months at home.
So I'm encouraged by your progress, but it's too little of weight loss to bring the risk factor for surgery to an acceptable level. So you both are still not ready for any kind of weight loss surgery. But with the progress that you've made, you should notice some difference in how you're feeling and in your mobility. Are you both feeling any better?
No, I have a lot of pain.
What's going on?
Lee and Renee are disappointed they can't get the surgery, but Lee uses this as an opportunity to speak to Dr. Now about his health concerns, as he's been experiencing quite a lot of pain.
My stomach, but right here through to my side and back, it's just really painful.
How bad is the pain?
Anytime I move or walk or strain, it pulls and just really burns and hurts, and it just kills me. I can't get any relief.
Why didn't you call me about this?
I figured I'd see you.
So you let it get worse until it causing you severe pain now, and this may be an emergency issue. One little thing can kill you. So right now, I want to admit you to hospital immediately to do an endoscopy to figure out what's going on.
Lee is immediately admitted to hospital for an investigation into this sharp pain.
I'm just praying that everything's going to be all right.
I can't do this without him, so he has to be okay. I just can't lose him.
We can only put Lee under very briefly because he would not survive long-term sedation. And our options are limited if there are any significant health issues with Lee right now.
After Dr. Now completes the endoscopy, he identifies that Lee has gallstones, but fortunately they're not too advanced to the point where he would get an infection. Dr. Now uses this opportunity to stress that their obesity is affecting their life dramatically, and they really need a change. On the face of it, they are completely on the same page as Dr. Now, and are so committed to the treatment that they make the difficult decision to relocate to Houston so that they can be closer to the doctor and not have to travel the 11+ hours each month to their appointments.
Moving to Houston is the first big step in our journey to change our lives. And me and Renee are sticking to our diet and exercise exactly like we're supposed to, including our portion sizes. I am going to keep losing weight until Dr. Now says you are approved for the surgery, no matter how long it takes, because I want to live a longer life. Renee has lost her whole family, and I don't want to lose me too.
We know even more this time how important it is to do this. And I'm not letting Lee get in a situation like he was again. I want both of us to get surgery, but I definitely want him to get approved because I feel he has less time than me. But I know I don't have much longer either because I can feel how sick and run down I'm getting. So no matter what, we can't fail at this.
Now, moving on a month, Lee and Renee are back at Dr. Now's clinic for the weigh-in, and they have pretty good results. Renee smashes her target by an extra few pounds, getting down to 476 pounds. Lee is in a similar situation, getting down to 572 pounds. Now the couple are only about 100 pounds different in weight. Dr. Now is really pleased with their progress and approves them for surgery.
We ran some tests to make sure there are no issues, but you both done well and I'm proud of you.
Yep.
And I bet you both already feeling better with all that weight off of you.
But it's not all good news, as Renee shares some scary health concerns.
I got some kind of pain in my chest, and it feels like somebody's just pulling my chest apart. And then I started coughing stuff up yesterday, and it started out being clear. And then last night, it started having a little bit of bloody show in it. And when I started seeing the blood, I really got worried.
All right, let me shake it.
After Dr. Now examines Renee and sends her for an x-ray, he has some disappointing news to tell her.
Just look at your chest x-ray. You do have a pneumonia in the right lung. So we need to send you to the hospital, okay? We need to start treating you for this immediately so that your condition doesn't start to deteriorate any further. And you need to be separated and quarantined from Lee because he can't afford to get sick right now at all. Okay?
All right.
Renee, I'll see you in the hospital, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Over the next week, Renee recovers in the hospital from her pneumonia, while quarantined away from Lee. who continues to stay at home until Renee is no longer contagious.
It's just hard being away from Lee. Since I've known him, we really haven't spent any time apart. So this is all so much harder than I ever thought it would be. And until you get surgery, you don't know if any of it's going to pay off. So hopefully after Lee has his surgery, I'll be able to get mine, and we can both start the life we've dreamed of for so long.
After about a month in hospital, Renee is well enough to return home. So, Dr. now admits Lee for surgery at the same time, so Renee is able to help him recover. Lee's surgery goes really well, and Dr. now removes his gallbladder at the same time, so he doesn't have to suffer from his gallstones any longer. The plan is, when Lee is well enough and recovered after his surgery, Renee will be booked in so that Lee can take care of her life as she takes care of him. And then, once they've both had their surgeries, they can continue their weight loss journeys together. This works really well for Renee, as Lee is finally in a position to start doing more things himself rather than relying on her. The quicker he can look after himself, the quicker Renee will be able to have surgery.
So I've been making him start to do things for himself for the first time in a long while, because I'm intent on getting my surgery now. So he's actually going to have to take care of me. And he has no choice about it. But I know it's been hard for Lee to try to clean himself and use the bathroom on his own.
You're getting water everywhere.
What I'm worried about is how he's falling back into his old eating habits. Now that Lee's had surgery, it's like he stopped trying to stick to the diet. And that's worrying me. I can't figure out why he's doing this now. And his temper has been coming back when he's craving something.
I know Renee hasn't been too happy when I make poor food choices, but now that I had the surgery, I thought it would take away all the cravings for the food that I shouldn't eat. But it hasn't. So I need her to let up a little and to get off my back, because this isn't easy.
Really start doing the best we can and not just say that.
One mistake too many stars of the show make is that they think the weight loss surgery is literally magic and will take away their cravings overnight. They do forget that it still requires work and resilience to not give in to the food they want and to stick to their diet plan. Not to mention, the risk of eating large volumes of food creates a lot of stress on the stomach and can actually reverse the surgery altogether. This is especially frustrating for Renee, as she still hasn't been able to have her own surgery because she's been too busy taking care of Lee, when he can't even stick to the weight loss plan himself.
Not
Yes,
having
but
my norm.
I went
just,
through that too.
Mm.
That's what you don't understand. Will you admit that we're not doing as well here as we should do?
We are.
But I'm not talking about just eating.
I know. No, we're
I'm
on.
talking about everything.
Because things have been harder between me and Lee. And it's starting to feel like all we do is fight. He's still been overeating and doing things he shouldn't. And he's even starting to tell me that I shouldn't get surgery, and I don't know why. We missed our last appointment with Dr. Now because Lee didn't want to go because he knows he's overeating. But it was completely selfish of him because it's my turn to get weight loss surgery. Things are even worse than ever.
Every morning you start a fight.
I don't understand why you can't back off. You just keep pushing my buttons.
Lee and Renee's relationship has surprisingly taken a turn for the worse after Lee's surgery instead of getting better. It almost seems like Lee regrets getting the surgery at all and wants to go back to his old habits, dragging Renee down with him.
Only time you are ever nice to me or talk to me like a human is when you need or want something.
Yeah. What do I do the
You
rest of
call
the
me
time?
a F and B or a C.
When you start calling me names.
No, I don't.
Yeah. You're
Last
always,
night you sat
Renee,
there.
you call me a liar more than you call me Lee. Everything
don't.
that goes wrong, you take out on me.
No, I don't.
Constantly take out on me.
I am not physical with you.
No, you drive me there.
There is nothing to drive a person to physical abuse.
You constantly put me down. Tell me I'm low.
I tell you that.
Yeah.
Well, you tell me on a daily basis how worthless I am.
And in the middle of an explosive argument, Lee dropped the ultimate bombshell.
You have lots of problems. You have an anger problem. You have a violent problem. Your head has a problem.
Doesn't matter anymore. It ain't gonna work. I do not desire to be with you. We are never, ever going to see eye to eye, no matter what.
Been with him 11 years and he'd never been violent. It's like he's just changed into this person that's so mean and so hateful.
Our lives are changing. We become two different people. I'm not the man that's stuck in the bed no more that she takes care of. Now I want to be my own person. And personally, I don't want David here. I've told him to leave so many times because he stands up for her. They take up for each other. Sometimes I wonder if something's going on. I don't know. That's a lot of our problem too.
Lee has turned into a domestic abuser pretty much overnight, with Renee sharing that he does hurt her physically, and even turning to psychological abuse by accusing Renee of having an affair with his friend. Lee's attitude towards Renee is totally uncalled for, especially as she's given up her entire life to look after him. Although Lee is bigger than Renee and carries more risk, Renee has a lot more health issues, literally recovering from pneumonia in hospital by herself. This isn't even to mention the fact that she's delayed her own surgery, waiting for Lee to be in a healthy position to take care of her. Lee has completely prioritised his own needs over Renee's, seeming to not want her anymore when he doesn't need to be taken care of. He even goes as far as to accuse Renee of wanting him to stay bedbound so she can look after him, which is the complete opposite of what she wants. Despite missing their last appointment with Dr. Now, Renee encourages Lee to attend the next one, so they both go in for another weigh-in together. And as you'd expect, Lee's eating habits haven't been the best. So, in the past month, he's only lost 9 pounds, nowhere near the 30-pound loss Dr. Now asked him to lose. Now, Renee, on the other hand, her weight loss has been absolutely incredible.
I'd already hit my weight loss goal, but Dr. Now told me that I've had to keep making progress. I was down to 476 at our last appointment. I'm hoping to have lost 20 to 30 pounds and be around 450. Awesome.
Oh, wow.
Now that I'm recovered from the pneumonia.
Losing an extra 20 pounds than she was supposed to is really an amazing achievement for Renee, and I'm actually really proud of her. Not only has she done it all by herself, but she's lost the weight in spite of Lee's negative and abusive behaviour, and she hasn't indulged in the snacks that Lee has been having when they're supposed to be dieting. And what does Lee have to say to Renee for her amazing achievement? Absolutely nothing, other than a sarcastic wow. This really proves that Renee has totally outgrown Lee and is better off on her own. And in my opinion, the sooner that she leaves him, the better. But Dr. Now doesn't have the time of day for Lee and his excuses.
Okay, you just had your bypass about 2 months ago. And when you left the hospital, you were down to 546. So you lost only 9 pounds since then. But Renee has lost almost 50 pounds at the same time. And she hasn't even had her bypass yet. What in the world is going on with you?
I guess I'm eating the wrong things.
You think it's funny? You have a gastric bypass.
I had a gastric bypass,
to
yes.
lose weight.
To lose weight.
And you're not losing weight.
I don't eat a third what I ate
just
before I
answer
had
the
that
question,
surgery.
okay? Then
You're
we're not
asking
talking
me
about
questions
that.
that I don't understand no more than you understand.
What are you talking about? You're choosing to eat and you think it's okay?
No, I don't think it's okay at all.
So what is going on?
I guess I'm not eating the right things. I mean,
We gave you the instruction that you need to follow, and you're not
Yeah.
following. You play your cards right until you got the surgery. And now you're playing this kind of game, and you think that's okay? How in the
I
world
don't see how I'm
somebody...
playing any game. I throw up constantly. I eat what I can keep down.
That's how it works. You throw up constantly because the surgery forces you to when you overeat now.
I think my problem is I'm holding a lot of fluid. I can't hardly pee.
Really?
I mean, I don't know what. I mean, you.
What do you mean you don't know? And you
Yeah.
think that you're not eating and you're gaining
I
a
don't want to
fat.
get malnourished either.
Do you look like you're malnourished? You're overeating, and whatever you're overeating, you're throwing up. It means the surgery is working to hold you back when you make bad choices. And it's the only reason that you didn't gain 100 pounds these past 2 months.
Do you not want me to eat at all?
You know that's not what I'm saying at all.
Lee is absolutely filled with excuses too, none of which we haven't seen before. The all too common excuse that weight is just water weight, and that there must be some other reason why they're not losing weight. Now I don't know why it's so hard for him to accept the reality that he's simply eating too much food, especially when he complains that he's throwing up from eating too much, which is literally because he's overeaten. Lee has been given the gastric sleeve, something he and Renee both wanted desperately, and now he's literally throwing his opportunity away, and he can't handle the truth. This is when things start to get really heated, as Lee storms out of the office, and if you watch my previous video about Dr. Now's angriest moments of my 600-pound life, you'll know what's about to happen next.
So you have to deal with what is driving you to eat. That's the hard part, and you don't want to do it. And you're running from it and self-destructing.
I'm done with this conversation. Go to her.
No, we're gonna finish with you.
No, we're not finishing with me. You're making me mad.
Yeah,
I'm
sit
leaving.
down right there.
You just
You
let
sit
me-
down right over there.
down.
No, I'm.
Please, sit down.
Okay,
Let go of me, Renee.
all right, this is completely unacceptable. Lee's behavior right now is very alarming, but he's starting to realize some of the issues that have been driving him to eat. And if Lee chooses to avoid those issues and run right now, then he's going to continue on the same path that he was, where he's not going to survive another year. Renee, you stayed on track, despite how Lee's behaving, and I'm proud of you for that.
I can't lie, I love the sneaky editing by the team who clip Lee running away from his appointment in his scooter. After Lee storms out, Dr. Now's tone with Renee completely changes, and he is much more sympathetic to her situation.
So you should be ready for weight loss surgery. However, Lee is creating an environment that you can't succeed in long term. No one can do this without support. No one. And if I give you surgery now without addressing what's going on with Lee, I will be setting you up for failure. So I'm going to send you both to therapy, and I want you to convince Lee to go. If he starts to get back on track, I'm confident you have the support you need at home, then I'll approve you for surgery.
Okay.
All right, any other questions?
No.
Okay, I'll see you soon.
The fact that Renee's surgery is dependent on Lee is completely unfair, and I genuinely feel really sorry for her. Her health and future are in his hands, and he really doesn't care. I kind of disagree with Dr. Now's take here though. Surely it would be possible for Renee to have the surgery and recover in hospital. She shouldn't have to depend on Lee to look after her post-surgery, especially as he's proven he doesn't want to, and doesn't really care about their relationship anymore.
And I'm worried I'm going to have to give up on our relationship. Because if Lee wants to mess up his life and his chance, I can't let it destroy mine.
Despite all of this, Lee is still reluctant to admit that Renee completely takes care of him and won't step up and be the supportive partner she needs.
So I'm really upset at her. And I'm not sure talking to a therapist will change any of that.
And I completely agree. Renee is clearly a deeply kind and caring person who's suffered a lot in her life, and she really deserves better than Lee. At their therapy appointment, the therapist clearly sees Lee's abusive tendencies towards Renee and helps him to understand where he's going wrong.
And she's expressing emotions related to how she experiences you. You kind of flare up. So at what point did you all start talking to each other in this way?
We had some pretty good fights.
He became violent.
Physically?
And he is,
Physically
and
violent,
he has
yeah,
never been
and-
like that.
There's only been a couple instances. It ain't like I hit her every day, but
But Lee, it's important not
you gotta
to
realize what
minimize
she has done to me. You know, the verbal, the screaming and the.
So it sounds like the two of
I have
you.
never cussed you, called you names like you
cussed
do
you, but
me.
they-
You
but
cuss
no
me,
matter
you
what
call
I
me
say, I'm
names,
wrong.
you constantly are putting me down.
And so let me ask this. When you began this relationship, what'd you expect?
The one main reason I am trying therapy and trying to make this work.
It's so sad to watch Renee try so hard for their relationship, even trying to excuse his physical abuse towards her, because she still sees hope for him. As Lee has never hit her before their weight loss journey, she tries to excuse it for the stress he's been going through. But the truth is, physical abuse can never be excused, and it will always be wrong. Renee deserves so much better than him, and it's completely devastating to watch her crumble while Lee continues to blame her. The therapist also gives a really powerful statement towards the logic behind Lee's domestic abuse, which should hopefully serve as an eye-opener for Renee.
Domestic violence is progressive. If someone yells at you, they'll smack you. If someone smacks you, they'll kick you. If someone kicks you, they'll stomp you. If someone will stomp you, they will kill you. People
We
die.
have been together all this time and he had never been abusive, ever.
Lee tries to take this into consideration, but I don't know how much I really believe him. I really think this is just who Lee is, a selfish person who takes advantage of others. I don't know if he can change, but I certainly wouldn't bet on it.
And now I feel I know that I need to change. And I'm very sorry for the way I've treated you, Renee. And I'm going to do my best to do better. I love you. Let's just try to work through this.
Over the next few months, Lee and Renee continue to go to therapy and work on their relationship. So, Dr. Now has agreed to move ahead with Renee's surgery. And thankfully, the surgery goes well, but Dr. Now is aware of Renee's home situation and wants to make sure she is safe while recovering at home.
If Lee so much as threatened to hit Renee, then we will have to intervene and to separate them to keep her safe and allow her to recover without any life-threatening incidents. So we'll stand ready just in case things aren't as they seem with Lee, but hopefully it won't come to that.
A month later, Renee is still recovering from surgery, and Lee plans to surprise Renee with some presents for her birthday. But on the way there, he drops quite a shocking revelation.
For 11 years, and we had never had intercourse before, but now it's possible because we've lost 350 pounds together. I want to marry Renee, and I never thought I'd have the chance to actually do that. So I'm going to keep working to make that reality for both of us.
Imagine being with someone for 10 years and never once being intimate with them. Crazy. But anyway, Lee surprises Renee with a bouquet of flowers for her birthday. This is the first time that Lee has ever went out and bought something for Renee off his own back. And safe to say, Renee is overjoyed.
Because I feel like we're working together instead of against each other. So I'm really thankful for how things are right now and for how hard Lee has been trying to improve himself.
Although Renee is really happy with their relationship, I'm still pretty uncomfortable with the fact that she stayed with him, despite the physical and emotional abuse. I don't think people who are capable of this kind of abuse will ever change, so I just hope Renee stays safe. At their last appointment with Dr. Now, things are still going really well.
And that's total weight loss of 273 pounds.
Great.
And Renee, you're down to 306. And that is total weight loss of 243 pounds. That's excellent. A few months ago, I wasn't sure if Lee was going to be able to get back on track and what the effect of that will be on Renee. But they're both doing well. And I'm very optimistic about their long-term progress. So how do you feel, Renee?
I'm very, very blessed to be where I'm at, but I'm not where I want to be yet. I'm going to keep going.
Lee and Renee are both very close to their weight loss goals, with over 500 pounds lost between them. Lee's current weight is 411 pounds, which is a total weight loss of 303 pounds. Renee's current weight is 278 pounds, which is a total weight loss of 271 pounds. Once they're both at their goal weight, Lee is going to propose to Renee, the final step in the start of their new life. The pair have definitely had it hard, especially for Renee, as she spent over 10 years looking after Lee and neglecting herself. But now it seems like Lee is starting to take some ownership. The domestic abuse situation still makes me uncomfortable, as personally, I think she deserves better than him. I did some digging and found that as of last year, Renee's relationship status on Facebook was single. So maybe that means that they've split up for good, and she can meet someone who treats her like she deserves. Now, although Lee and Renee had a problematic relationship, it pales in comparison to the mother-daughter relationship that Margaret had, as she was treated like a complete baby for her entire life until it almost killed her. And if you want to see that video and my reaction to the episode, click the video that's on your screen now. Make sure you visit Fatler's Kitchen to get my cookbook and sign up to my free newsletter. Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a video, and I'll see you in the next one.